Kal Kadosh, Boker Or, Masechet Zevachim Daf Yomi Daf Lamed Hei Amud Aleph 35a1. We were just speaking about the entire concept of that since the Kohanim are Zrizim, sometimes it spills, and so that means they were working so quickly, so sometimes it spills. And what happens is that even though they were very careful, right, because they were Zrizim, it would spill, so you have to be careful. Valo dama tamtzit me'urav bo. This is 1 second, but you have dama tamtzit. There's a lot of damatatzit. Damatatzit is the korbanot after it already stops the blood from coming out. You have damatamtzit. Damatamtzit is like the leftover blood. Okay, so that's going to be ala ritzvah, and that's even going to be more than the blood which she accepted in the utensil. So answers the Gemara. Rav Yuda letamer. Rav Yuda goes according to reasoning. Damar dam tamtzit kari dam. The dam tamtzit is also considered dam. Titania was willing to write the dam tamtzit ba'azara, meaning you're not allowed to eat it. Right? Rabbi Yudah and Rabbi Yudah says no, it's a karet. So therefore, obviously, he's saying that it's mamash, right? Because usually we say that it's only karet, the dam shaneshama turiyabo, the dam, the blood that the neshama is dependent upon him. But if he's saying that dam tamtzit is also going to be chayv karet, that means that's why it's still considered the blood from there. Fa'amar Rabbi Elazar says Rabbi Elazar modeh Rabbi Yudah linyan kapara. He was modeh to do with kapara. Right? Shenu mechaper. It's not going to be mechaper. Shneimar b'zeh bazuk ki adam hu b'nefesh yechaper. Dam shenefesh yotze bo koroi dam. Shenefesh yotze bo koroi dam. Ela, but rather Rabbi Yudah letamei, Rabbi Yudah letamei goes according to his reasoning. Damar and dam vatel dam. Blood does not be vatel more blood. Why? Because since it's min b'mino, it's not batel berov. So that means it's not going to be batel. Right? But it's the same species. It's blood and blood. So blood and blood, it's not going to be batel. So Amar Rabbi Yudah says Rabbi Yudah ledivrechem, according to you, that you're not going to come and put the blood from the ritzvat azara in order to so lama pokekina azara. So why on erev Pesach would they stop the blood? Right? Meaning they used to put the plug. You know, in the Bet HaMikdash, they used to have like a sewage system, and they used to go underneath, right? So why did they used to put the pkak? The pkak is, like the how do you call the stopper, right? That they used to put it inside. Why would they do that? In order that the blood should not go down to Amat Hamayim. He says, I understand. According to me, they would do that in order that all the blood would go outside of the Azara, and then they would come and they would do it. But according to you, what's the reasoning? So Amrulo, they said, Sheva chulu b'nei Aaron she'alchu ad hakavut. It's actually a praise that they're going to be running around in blood. So that's what happened on Pesach, right? Erev Pesach, obviously, they were running around mamash with blood until their knees, and that was a praise for them. So says the Gemara, "V'adam avi chatzitza." What are you talking about? The blood is a chatzitza. Then they're walking on blood. That's chatzitza. So says the Gemara, "Lachu." It's moist. Velo avi chatzitza. Anything which is moist is not a chatzitza. The time was we learned in the Mishnah. Hadam v'adiyov dvash v'chalav v'veshim chatzitza. Only if it's dry, it's chatzitza. But if it's lach, it's not going to be chatzitza. So I asked the Gemara, "V'avi mitvase menayu." Says, yeah, but the clothing are going to become dirty. And if the clothing are dirty, again, you have a problem. Utznan, hayu begadim tu shlashim ve'avad. Well, the psul is going to be pasul. Meaning, if he's got dirty clothing and he's doing the service, it's going to be pasul. The chitim and everything, madlu, they picked it up. Vatanya, we said mido. What is mido? So you can't be that it can be too long and too short. So what's going on? So he says, he says, no, it's only taking the limbs to the kevesh. That's not an avodah, and therefore they could pick up their clothing. Says the Gemara, "Velo, not." Fatanya, we learned to the right of Yekiva kol is the lochat avrim. It is a avodah. So he says, "You're right. It's olachat etzim lamaracha. The lav avodah yidir. It's not avodah. The lav avodah yichyazi. So where did they go? So he says they were going on the itztabot to the gvot, right? They were going on. So therefore, it's not going to be a chatzitza on the floor because it's part of the floor. Right, so therefore he comes and he says, so the kohen that was standing on top of him is like kilu that he's going to be on the ground, right? Even without getting the clothing. Mishnah Lamed Amud Aleph in the middle of the page. The Mishnah says the Mishnah. השוחט את הזבח לאכול דבר שאין דרכו לאכול ולהקטיר דבר שאין דרכו להקטיר כשר ורב אליעזר פוסל. If you're going to do shechita on the korban, let's say, and you're going to eat something which is normally not eaten, right? So, for example, you wanted to eat part of the murim, or you wanted to drink the blood, or you wanted to bring on the mizbeach something which is usually eaten, right? So you come and he says kasher. Rabbi Eliezer says no, it's pasul. Right? If it's going to be only less than a kazait, it's going to be kasher. If it's going to be lechol kechetzi zay lo yaktir chetzi zayit, it's going to be kasher. Shen achilav k'tar mitzafim. It's not mitzaref the eating and bringing to the mizbeach. השוחט את הזבח לאכול כזית מן האור ומן הרוטב ומן הכיפה ומן הלל ומן הצומים מגדים מקרניים ומן הטלפים מחוץ לזונו ומחוץ למקומו. What happens if you're going to slaughter the korban to eat the kazait of the skin? Now skins are not fitting to eat. Or rotev. Rotev is like it comes out of the meat, but it's like a fat. Umina kippah. Kippah are the tavlinim and the pirurim and the basar and everything. Or the halal. The halal is like gida tzavar, which is very hard. It's not fitting for eating. Or from the bones, or from the giving the sinews, or kanaim, right? The how do you call the kanaim? The horns, or the tlafim. Tlafim are the like on the hooves, right on the bottom of the feet. Chutz izman chutz mikoman kasher. It's going to be kasher. ואין חייבים עליהם משום פיגול. You're not going to be חייב משום פיגול, נותר וטמא. Okay? Why? Because all these things are not fitting. השוחט את המוקדשים. If you're going to do shechita to the mukdashin, which is basically the korbanot, which the nekeva, in order to eat the shalil, right? The fetus or the shilya, right? There's a fetus or the sack, right? Bachutz, outside of the proper place. Lo pigel, there's no pigul. Hamulek et turin. If you're going to do milika to the turin are the birds, right? Korbanot auf. Le'echol beitzein, to eat their beitzim. Bachutz, outside of the azara, lo pigel, it's not considered pigul. Chalev mukdashin. We're talking about now the chalev. Sorry, the chalav. This is the chalav which are inside the korbanot of the nekeva. Meaning, like the milk inside of the chest area of the animals. Ubetzet torin, or the eggs of torin. Chavim alem mishum pigul, there's no pigul or notar v'tameh. So basically, anything which is not normally eaten, there's no notar, pigul, all these things. Why? It's not normal. So it's nothing. Okay, makes sense, no? Common sense. Fine. Amar Rabbi Elazar, says Rabbi Elazar, says the Gemara. Pigel bazevach. Nitpagel ashlil. Bashlil no pigel. If the zevach became pigul, so the shlil also becomes pigul. But if the shlil became pigul, it's not the zevach. Pigel ba'alal nitpagel murah. Murah lo nitpagel alal. Right? The zefek, the murah, is, I don't know how you say, the cress. It's the top part of the root of the bird. It's a sack bagarona of. It's by the it's like a bag which is by the neck of the bird. I thought it was the top part, but it's the bottom part. Okay? במורן לא ניפגל הלל. פיגול באמורים ניפגלו פרים. פרים לא ניפגלו אמורים. Okay? So he comes and he says, Lema Misayale, why don't we just say that this is a proof? Shavim shemicheshev ba'achilat parim u'sifet anosa klum. We didn't do anything. Myla, we're not talking about now. Achishev ba'imurim nipaglu parim. Says the Gemara, no. Right? Lamedhea mubet. Right? Achishev ba'imurim nipagla imurim atzman. Fine. Tashema. Okay, 35b. Tashema, the two dots. We wanted to bring a proof to Rabbi Elazar. Parima nisarfim u'sirima nisarfim. We're talking the burnt bulls or he-goats. Moelim bahem. There's mi'ilah. Yishukdushu, once they become ekdesh. Shenishchatu shiru. Once they do the shchita, it already becomes fitting. Lipasel tvul yom. Mechusa kivurim v'lina. So then it becomes, for whether it's going to be a tvul yom that touches it. Remember, tvul yom is somebody that's tameh. He went to the mikveh, but it still didn't come nighttime. Or mechusa kipurim, because he didn't bring a korban. Or lina, right? Which means that they waited until the morning after the shchita in order to bring the meat. So my love lina basar, we're not talking about lina basar. Ushma mina migo de pasla belina, since it became pasul belina pasla b'mashava. So no, it was the psul was emurim. Only in the emurim are going to be nifsalim belina, right? But not the basar. So hami diktani seifa. So from that which the seifa comes and he says, right? Kulan mualim bahen, that all of them are going to be mualim. It's going to be milah, right? He says al beta deshen ad shiyutacha basar. Yeah, miklal the reisha lina basar. So mi the iria, he says, can you compare both cases too? Hakadita. Reisha bemunim, seifa basar. The reisha is bemunim, and the seifa is talking about basar. So motiv Rabba comes and he asks the question, ואלו שמפגלים, והם מתפגלים, סמל שבראש הכבשים מסייע שבזקן תיישים, והעור והרוט והכיפה והעלל והמורה והעצמו והגידים והקדם וטלפיים והשלי והשלייה וחלב מוקדשים וצטרים, לא מפגלים ולא מתפגלים, ואין חייבים שום פיגול נותר טמא ומעלה בהן חוץ פטור. So here you say that there's going to be patur from karet on everything. Why? They're not fitting for anything. So therefore, it never becomes pigul. It's not going to make pigul or become pigul. It's not going to do anything. Right? I didn't want to translate everything again, but it was everyone knows the, again, the skin, the rotav, the kippah, the halal, all the different things. So says the Gemara, My love, are we not talking about now lo mefaglim? Right? Zevach lo mefaglim mechamat zevach. It does not become pigul or not make pigul. Meaning, if this became pigul, it doesn't make everything else pigul, and also it doesn't become pigul at all. So says Gemara, no. Lo mefaglim et zevach lo mefaglim mechamat atzman. It's not going to be mefagel the zevach, but they're not going to become pigul on their own. If it's because of the zevach, it could become pigul, but it's not going to become pigul on its own. Meaning, these things cannot become pigul by itself. But if the entire korban became pigul, these things are also pigul. Yes, exactly. So, right, that's what he says. Lo mefalgin et lo mefalgin mechamat atzman. So, Yachi, if so, right? Haditari seifa. Let's look at the seifa. Kulan lo mefaglim mefaglin. Why do we need it then? So he says, "V'litamech," and according to your reasoning, en chayvim alav mishum pigul. Hatulam ali. Why do I need it then? Ela I did the bailamita, since I needed to teach notar tamet and pigul. Hachanami, so too I'm going to teach also maleva chutz tanadami v'kulan lo mefaglim mefaglin. So Rava Kabani says, I'm going to have a proof to this. Why? We also learned it in the Mishnah. Hashochet et hamukdashim. If you're going to do shchita to the mukdashim, lechol shalil or shalia bechutz, lo pigel. It's not considered pigul. Famoleket utrim lechol b'tzeim bechutz, lo pigel. It's not pigul. V'hada tani. Then we learned that the chalav hamukdashim, the chalav, right? Ubetzet torim chavim alem mishum pigul notar v'tameh. Hashlil shalia chavim. It's much what you are. Ela lav shma mina. Here we're learning kan mechamat zevach mechamat atzma. One of them is for because of the korban. One of them is because on its own. Shema mina. That's exactly what we learned. Okay, fine. Next, Tananatam, we learned over there. Baale Mumin. Rabbi Kiva is Machshir beBaale Mumin. He says that if they already went up, they don't go down. You remember we brought down the one side of the animal goes up, it doesn't go down. So Rabbi Kiva ela bedokin shebayim. A very small mum in the eye. Hoiluk sherim be'ofol, because it's kosher in the birds. So says the Gemara, vehu shekadam ekdesha et muman. Also has to be that they were already makdishota before the mum. Right? Ve'umodeh Rabbi Akiva be'olat nekeva. Rabbi Akiva is going to be modeh and olat nekeva. Uchman tekadam muma le'ekdesha dami. That it's like it was first came the mum before the ekdesh. So mati Rabbi Zira ma'ale mehen b'chutz patur. Ha meiman is chayav. So it's mashma that if it's going to be from the beginning, already from the outside, it's going to be chayav. We know that an olah is ra'uy basar lekava bifnim only, not outside. So how does this work? So you're going to tell me now Rabbi Akiva holds olat nekeva maltalot teren, that if it was an olat nekeva, if it goes up, it doesn't go down. Who is that? That's going to be Rabbi Akiva. But if you're going to tell me malta tered, so who is it then? Yeah. So he comes and he says like this. He says, Ema, I wanted to say ma'ale mehen b'chutz patur. Hamemurei iman is going to be chayav. Ve'ha mehen ktani, it's written mehen. Ve'iman, right, is mashma, right, dum yadidhu. So he says, El ema, you have to say ma'ale memurin b'chutz patur. Hamemurei iman, you're going to be chayav. And we'll start the Mishnah next time, Bezrat Hashem.